Okay. Hi guys, I'm gonna make this one quick. Quick story time that I just remembered while I was just sitting here at my desk playing a fucking game. So in fourth grade, I remember there was we had a zoo presentation from like one of the zookeepers, right? And so they come into our class, they're doing their little presentation, right? And right at the end, they're like, who wants to come up here and help us demonstrate how we identify like what kind of animal that we're dealing with or whatever, right? And so what they were talking about is like how like how they determine like the diet of an animal, right? I remember, right? And so they were trying to figure out how they determined. Well, we were helping them figure out, right, how to determine what kind of diet a specific species ate, right? And so they would find their poop, right? And they would examine the poop. And one of the things that would determine whether or not it was an herbivore or a carnivore was like the texture, not the texture, well, kind of like the texture of like how it came out. And the way it was like so they got their gloves on, right? They inspected it and they looked at it. One of the big factors, right, was let me see. It was like if it was smooth, if it was like cracked, right? If it was smooth, it was an herbivore, and if it was cracked, it was an omnivore, or it was an omnivore or carnivore, like that, right? And I was one of the lucky ones who they picked to help, you know, do that, right? And I remember they got through all of it, right? We got through all of it, and then these motherfuckers, they were like, and then the last step to truly determine what kind of diet this animal eats is that we eat the poop, and this mother just flung what we thought was shit into his mouth, and everyone was dumbfounded. It was incredibly hilarious looking back on it, right? And me being one of the people who was helping demonstrate, right? I also ate the poop, and I didn't also eat it like immediately. Obviously, I'm not stupid, right? But they told me to also eat the poop, and I genuinely, in this moment, still thought I was holding a piece of shit, right? And so I was just like, are you sure? And okay, um, and then they whispered in my ear, and it's okay, it's a Tootsie Roll. I don't know if the microphone picked that up, right? But it was a Tootsie Roll. That's what he told me, right? And so I ate it, and it was a fucking Tootsie Roll. And so internally, it was a sigh of relief, right? But they also whispered in my ear not to tell anyone, right? So I had to hold on to that. Well, everyone thought I just genuinely ate shit. Obviously, I didn't want to lose all my prestige in that fucking class. So later in the day, I started telling a select few of the people who I called my friends, right? I started telling people, I was just like, it was Tootsie Roll, it was candy, right? And that's pretty much the end of that story. That shit was fucking hilarious, though. Bye.